Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is themes, the themes of our lives and the baseline of our life stories. And I think it should be a really fun topic because we get to explore the epic story of our lives together. So it should be fun. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. It's great to have you here with us this morning. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. Before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells and your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very softly rub your fingers against your palms. Feel that sensation, the tickling, the tingling, the pressure, the temperature, and allow that sensation to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Monday. They just keep coming. So, yes, we're talking today about themes and life themes. And I don't know if you've seen patterns in your life, if you've looked at your life story to say, wow, what are the currents or the undercurrents of the storyline that is my life? I think it's an interesting way to be looking at our lives, you know, as an epic adventure, an epic story. I think that it helps us to potentially recontextualize a lot of our struggles or our suffering, and also maybe to identify certain triumphs that we've had. So I'll start with a personal example. For years and years in my life, and I don't know when it actually changed as I'm reflecting on it right now, but for years and years, one of the themes in my life was power and relationship to power. And good morning, Dido. So good to have you here with us this morning. Welcome. We're talking about themes of life, and Dido, this is certainly something that is dear to you, because I know that this is something you've been exploring a lot, and life stories. So I'm delighted to have you here with us. And good morning, Kimberly. Welcome. Happy Monday to you too. So themes of life. So what I was saying is that for me, for a good portion of my life, there were themes around power and abuse of power and challenging power. And it's interesting because it's not so much a conscious theme for me now as it had been. But what I think has happened for me is that I've integrated a different relationship to power. Rather than feeling impotent or overpowered, I have a deeper sense of personal empowerment to be able to make a difference, to be able to bring about change. To be empowered in the face of power rather than disempowered. So that has shifted. So it's still, maybe it's still a theme around power, but not so much abuse of power, which is really, really interesting. And also another theme around creator destroyer. That was a big theme for me too. In a archetypal sense, you know, on a very grand scale, creator and destroyer of worlds, big stuff, right? So it's because there's a big impulse in me to be working to save the world. And I know that in certain regards, the world doesn't need saving. And yet in other regards, there's so much that we get to do to create change on the planet. So that's still a big theme for me, creator destroyer. And I'm wondering what kinds of themes might be characterizing your lives. You know, what do you notice if you look back in your life? What kinds of themes repeat? Another theme in my life is, I would say, I don't know if I want to say lone wolf, or I think it has to do with individualization, or you know, caring for myself, not necessarily relying on others for my welfare or protection, you know, so being kind of on my own. I think that's been that, and independence. So with any of these themes, I think if you look at your life, you'll see that, you know, it's a double-edged sword, and that's part of our hero or heroine's journey in our lives, is revolves around these themes. So Kimberly says nurturing and healing, caregiver role. So caring for the world, caring for others. That's an awesome role and a theme in your life. And I'm wondering, for you, Kimberly, out of that caregiver role, what role, or what does it bring forth in you? What are the lessons and the evolution that you've gone through to rise into this heroic persona? I'll just say it that way. Like, and it's easier to think of other people when you look at their lives and say, okay, they're rising into this heroic expression. But what has that given you? The nurturing and healing, the caregiver. What has it given you, and who has it made you become? So as I'm thinking about it with these different roles that I was talking about in my life, these different themes: independence, power, power, issues of power, and abuse, creator, destroyer, all those things kind of fit together to be saying, how do you use power well? How do you the independence for me has given me independence of thinking, to be able to be looking outside the box to find solutions for things that might otherwise be unseen by other people, perhaps, to be exploring, to be going into an unknown that might intimidate other people. All of those things are part of the themes that coalesce, you know, to be creating possibility in my life. So Rosalind says, my life will start after I. Yes, I hope that's not the theme of life. Maybe, good morning, Jennifer, welcome. We're talking about themes of life. So Rosalind said, my life will start after I think we talked about this last week, saying that, life is going to happen when, well, meantime, it's existing right here, right now. And so the theme, I don't even know how to translate that into a theme. But maybe waiting, maybe it's a theme of waiting. And as you recognize that theme of waiting, maybe there's an opportunity to be engaging in a different way with life. And Kimberly says, I've always been like that. I notice I have forgotten to take care of myself. I fell into this role with my parents and grandparents, now my aunt. Okay, so it's interesting to notice your language in what you just said, where you fell into this role. And so one of the things that we talk about, is making choice. And when we make choices, that gives us a greater sense of self-empowerment. So rather than falling into a role, you can look at that role and then give yourself an opportunity either to choose it or to choose differently. And that may open up some opportunities for you for recontextualizing your experience. Because when we perceive ourselves as victims, we're disempowered, and it reaches into all different dimensions of our lives. When instead we recognize that we're making choices all the time, then we have the opportunity to empower ourselves to make different choices, or to align more clearly with the choices we've made. Rosalind says, the new theme in my life is empowering self by shedding untruths, being nobody to opening space for new. I don't know what that last part means, but I love that you're talking about shedding untruths. So then Rosalind, maybe the theme is self-discovery, self-empowerment, and self-exploration. All of those things are pretty amazing. Kimberly says, I'm leaving for rehab Monday, May 17th. I'll miss you all. Wow, Kimberly, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing journey. And I hope for you that you can really dive deeply into the opportunity of it and the possibility of discovering new parts of yourself and new strengths that you didn't know you had. And I just wish you all the best, and ease and grace and courage, strength. I don't imagine it'll be easy. And the less you resist it, the more you embrace it, the more you engage and immerse yourself in the opportunity for self-discovery, which could be very dark at times. Know that you'll get to the other side, and it could be life-altering for you. I hope so. I wish you that, Kimberly. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome. So good to have you here with us. We're talking about life themes. And Kimberly says, thank you. Let the healing begin. Exactly. And it can begin right now. You don't have to wait till you're in rehab, right? You can allow the healing to begin this minute. And part of that is by bringing awareness to your circumstance, bringing awareness to whether you actively allow yourself to choose, how present you are to your choices, and observe with curiosity rather than judgment and blame. And so as we look at our lives with curiosity as we look at our behaviors with curiosity rather than judgment, and say, wow, I did this thing and I'm not proud of it. And what is it that could have motivated me to do that? Where did that come from? What was going on? What were the wounds that were driving that? Use your experience as a vehicle of discovery. So that might be another life theme, is discovery, to be the adventurer who is on this path of discovery, looking to have deeper, richer understanding. Another theme of my life is awakening, to be on the path of this discovery. Like, what is this about? What is all this life stuff? And what are we here for? And where is it taking us? And all those kinds of questions that hopefully can move us forward and move us into a greater expression of our being. So one of the things that we can identify as a way to discover some of our life themes is to look at what are our dreams and visions for ourselves in the world. Like, what is it we're looking for, we're hoping for, we're seeking? That's another way to be recognizing what our core themes are. So I think this is a rich thing to explore for ourselves, because it's another way to experience our possibilities. When we step back from our lives and look at it as an epic story, we can see. I know, Dido, you're creating a wonderful container to be able to do that with Dido's I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. Creating a workshop where you get to create your own story as this epic screenplay kind of thing. And I think it's so brilliant. I think it's such a brilliant idea, and a transformative container to be able to be looking at the challenges that we've encountered in our lives as part of a greater story, as essential parts of a rich and epic journey. Because I think that we all have that in our lives. We all have our challenges that we're faced with and that we interact with in all different ways. And all of those challenges serve to make us who we are. And it may not be that the themes are necessarily readily visible or super obvious, but I encourage you to start looking in your life beyond the patterns, beyond the superficial patterns, to these grander kind of themes that exist. Wow, Kimberly, thank you so much for that. Kimberly says, Mira, you've helped me so much to be open and honest, looking within, healing. I'm really honored that you say that, Kimberly, and I think it's so important to be willing to see ourselves. And when we are in a place of judgment, then it makes it really hard to see some of the tougher things about ourselves and about others and about life in general, when we're in a place of judgment. And what comes from having been there, like I've been there, believe me, from that place of judgment, there's also the place of shame that comes along with it. And it makes us very, very, it makes it very difficult to be looking at things with clarity. And so when we look at our lives with curiosity rather than judgment, it gives us an opportunity and an inroad to understanding on a whole different level, where we can say, wow, what would drive somebody to do that or to be that way? What was going on underneath it? And what we're doing there is cultivating a compassion for ourselves that we often have for others, but we don't necessarily give ourselves that same grace. And Rosalind says, Kimberly, we will miss your morning presence. And I agree, we will. And we will be here to welcome you back. And good morning, Elaine. So good to have you here with us this morning as we're talking about themes. So Elaine, I know that you have been through some epic experiences, and I would imagine that you can readily see the theme of your life, which I'm not even, I think I might guess in certain ways, but I'm not going to presume. So if you care to share, I'll invite that from you. Lisa says, coming from judgments and shame, then creates something that you then have to forgive yourself for. Exactly. That was a big lesson for me. Exactly. And the thing is that when we can cultivate this deep compassion for ourselves, as we approach our story and our experiences and our behaviors with curiosity rather than judgment, then what we're doing is we're cultivating a compassion and an understanding that can lead us to greater acceptance of ourselves. And consequently, we can apply that kind of awareness to our interactions with others as well. So let's see. We don't want to create more situations for self-forgiveness, right? There are plenty, and that I think the compassionate understanding just leads to forgiveness in a very natural way. Forgiveness is based in judgment in so many ways, right? Like, how could I possibly have done something so egregious? Then you have to forgive for that. Whereas when we can cultivate this compassionate understanding, it creates a whole new framework. Kimberly says, replying to Rosalind, it's been a year ago since I really wanted to take time for this. Now I have the opportunity again. I will be back. Love you all. Well, and hopefully you'll be with us until then. It's what, only the 8th? Is today the 8th? 9th. So you've got a little while to be here with us before you go to rehab, Kimberly. And I'm thrilled that you're taking the time. It could be, and hopefully will be, a very powerful, transformative experience for you. So themes, growth, evolution, awareness, reconciliation, empowerment, maybe like as I'm looking in my life, because that's the example that I have at the moment. When I said that there were always these issues of power, is how to reclaim or to claim my own power in a way that is empowering to others. You know, I think so many of us live our lives in shadows because we're afraid to come out into the light. We're afraid to express the power that we have. We're afraid of maybe abusing that power or using it in ways that are inappropriate. And so to come to a place of stepping into your own power, you know, maybe that's part of my life theme. I imagine it might be the same for a number of you, you know, being able to step into being love and express. So Kimberly says, yep, I'll be here every morning. Just wanted to tell you, weighing on my chest, thankful for your support. Well, we're here, Kimberly, and I'm so glad that you felt comfortable enough to be able to share what's on the horizon for you, and to be able to receive the support from this group. It's really awesome. Awesome, awesome. Elaine says, I'm in celebration of all life in this time of self-discovery and freedom from the false self, freedom from the false self, the mind, living heart-centered in our own way as the path unfolds, blessing all. So that's beautiful, beautiful. And so self-discovery sounds like it's a freedom, and all of a theme rather. So freedom from the false self and living in a heart-centered way. And so life has brought you through many trials and tribulations to get to that place. And so that's a hero or heroine's journey. And I know they're not quite the same, but congratulations on that. And Lisa says to Kimberly, sending you love, light, and healing prayers of strength, as are we all, Kimberly. Thank you for that, Lisa. And yeah, so I invite you to look at the themes in your life and to look at your life as an epic story, and you're the main character, and to see it may support you in seeing your life from a different lens, through a different lens. And it could very well be a very enriching experience. So Kimberly says, Elaine Leonard, love to see your beautiful, positive attitude. Thank you, everyone. So much love. And I say that I'm here to echo your sentiments, Kimberly. So much love. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live each weekday morning on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I encourage you to check out all the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network at, excuse me, at EWN One with the Earth and Enlightened World Living. And did I say I go live here at 9 a.m. Eastern each weekday morning? And I look forward to seeing you here again really soon. Thank you so much for starting off my week so richly. I have so much appreciation for you and so much love.